My son tells me that Eli Apple trends all the time for his miscues in the secondary. Do we feel bad for old Eli after Super Bowl Sunday?
Heavens no. And here's why. He's made it 6 years in the NFL, made many, many millions of dollars. He could buy and sell me and my family and my descendants for 20 times over. And let's just say this. I mean, people are going to replay that touchdown until the end of time, the last one, and he was the guy guarding him. But, that guy Cup made everybody look bad this year. I don't think it was,
Yeah.
he's alone in that fraternity. So, tough play, for him, the last play. But, I mean, the penalty he had, that was an obvious penalty and the right thing for him to do. He was beaten. He grabbed the guy, and that was it. So, he's a whipping boy for everybody, but he made it a lot farther than I ever did as a National Football League defensive back. So, is he the best in the league? No, probably not. But he's one of the reasons they made it as far as they did, because he did have probably one of his best seasons as a pro. And I was just talking to a guy at lunch about this. I'm a Browns person, but I have Bengals people in the family, so I was rooting for the Bengals. I was swearing when things didn't go well for the Bengals, and I was right alongside of them, slugging it out to the bitter end. And, I just kind of look at it, and people get wrapped up in the calls at the end of the game, deciding the game. And the fact of the matter is, I think everybody saw on Twitter that somebody rated the pass protection efficiency rate of the Bengals in that game was 14%. That means it wasn't mean that he got sacked 86% of the time. It meant that he only had a clean pocket about 14% of the time. And it was the worst in any NFL game the entire season. You're not going to beat the Jaguars playing, with a 14% pass efficiency rate. So I think we can put the culpability for whatever happened in that game where it belongs. And that's back on the front office with the Bengals, with that offensive line that they saddled that team with, and that the Bengals won in spite of throughout the course of the season. As I joked at one point, I think they game plan knowing they're going to have 50 yards of negative plays built in there. So they're throwing downfield because they know it's 2nd and 22, quite a bit. So to me, I think that's where the blame lies. And I would fully expect them to go get 2 free agent offensive linemen who can play, and maybe take a blue chipper in the first round and maybe another in the third round, something like that, that can come right in and start along that offensive line. And whether that means Isaiah Prince is out of a job or not, I don't know. But, he didn't distinguish himself very well, I don't think, in the Super Bowl either. So it was a rough day. But no, Eli Apple, everybody's favorite whipping boy, and he's out there on wears his emotions on his sleeves, and lets everybody know what he's thinking. And of course, his mommy, and she doesn't necessarily help his cause a lot of the time either. But not a popular guy. There was a thing leading up to the Super Bowl. NJ.com PM'd her and said, "Can you get us in touch with Eli, or we want to do a story with you, leading up to the Super Bowl?" And she told him to go get bent, basically on Twitter, and I have to believe, because they flamed him so hard, how he was a bust with the Jets, just 3 or 4 years ago or whatever, that they'll have nothing ever to do again with the hometown newspaper, because he's from New Jersey, so they wanted to do the feel-good hometown guy makes the Super Bowl story, forgetting the fact that their news outlet probably raked him over the coals time and again for his play with the Jets. But that's my Eli Apple and Bengals Super Bowl remembrances right there.
I'll just say I would feel bad for him if he didn't, like, he's his own worst enemy on social media, because he goes after people, and not just random people. He goes after like Tyreek Hill and all of the receivers that they beat, and at some point this is all going to come crashing down on you. Karma's going to catch up with you in terms of, like, he is playing the villain very, very well, but eventually the villain loses, and that happened here. And you see like Michael Thomas even having a good time with it on Twitter. And I just, there are a lot of people who enjoyed his struggle, and I can understand him being bitter towards a lot of people on social media, because I don't know how many people hear it worse than he does on social media, and so then he tends to enjoy the good times on social media. But when you do that, you're obviously going to be you better be ready when the bad times happen again. And if you're a cornerback, they eventually will.
Yeah, not much I can add here at this point. I think Steve and Tony have kind of hit all the points I was going to make.